Kare Samstuta Purusha Pasu Nashat Karana Patud Petu Jatu Nama Kata Graja Swavit Vara Ustra Karai Samstuta Purusha Pasu Nashat Karana Patu Petu Jatu Nama Kata Graja Swavidvara Ustra Karai Samstuta Purusha Pasu Nayat Karana Patu Petu Jatu Nama Kadagaja. Swa, a dog, bit Varaha, the village hog who eat stool. Ustra, the camel. Karai, and by the asses. Samstutaha, perfectly praised. Purushaha, a person. Pashu, animal. Na, never. Yet of him. Karna, ear. Pata, pot. Upetaha, reached. Jatu, at any time. Nama, the holy name. Kadagrajaha, Lord Krishna, the deliverer from all evils. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. Purport. A general mass of people, unless they are trained systematically for a higher standard of life in spiritual values, are no better than animals. And in this verse, they have particularly been put on the level of dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Modern university education practically prepares one to acquire a doggish mentality with which to accept the service of a greater master. After finishing a so-called education, a so-called educated persons move like dogs from door to door with applications for some service, and mostly they are driven away, informed of no vacancy. As dogs are negligible animals and serve the master faithfully for bits of bread, a man serves a master faithfully without sufficient rewards. Persons who have no discrimination in the matter of foodstuff and who eat all sorts of rubbish are compared to hogs. Hogs are very much attached to eating stool. So stool is a kind of foodstuff for a particular type of animal. And even stones are eatables for a particular type of animal or bird. But the human being is not meant for eating anything and everything and anything. He is meant to eat grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, sugar, etc. Animal food are not meant for a human being. For chewing solid food, a human being has a particular type of teeth meant for cutting fruits and vegetables. A human being is endowed with two canine teeth as a concession for persons who will eat animal food at any cost. It is known to everyone that one man's food is another man's poison. Human beings are expected to accept the remnants of food offered to Lord Sri Krishna. And the Lord accepts foodstuff from the categories of leaves, flowers, fruit, etc. Bhagavatam 9:26. As prescribed by Vedic scriptures, no animal food is offered to the Lord. Therefore, a human being is meant to eat a particular type of food. He should not imitate the animals to derive so-called vitamin values. Therefore, a person who has no discrimination in regard to eating is compared to a hog. A camel is a kind of animal that takes pleasure in eating thorns. The person who wants to enjoy family life or the worldly life or so-called enjoyment is compared to the camel. Materialistic life is full of thorns. And so one should live only by the prescribed method of Vedic regulations, just to make the best use of a bad game. Life in the material world is maintained by sucking one's own blood. The central point of attraction for material enjoyment is sex life. To enjoy sex life is to suck one's own blood, and there is not much more to be explained in this connection. The camel also sucks its own blood while chewing thorny twigs. The thorns the camel eat cut the tongue of the camel. And so blood begins to flow within the camel's mouth. The thorns mixed with the fresh blood, create a taste for the foolish camel. And so he enjoyed the thorn-eating business with false pleasure. Similarly, the great business magnates, industrialists who work very hard to earn money by different ways and questionable means, eat the thorny result of their actions mixed with their own blood. Therefore, the Bhagavatam has situated these diseased fellows along with the camels. The ass is an animal who is celebrated as the greatest fool, even amongst the animals. The ass works very hard and carries burdens of the maximum weight without making profit for itself. The ass is generally engaged by the washerman, whose social position is not very respectable. And the special qualification of the ass is that it is very much accustomed to being kicked by the opposite sex. When the ass begs for sexual intercourse, he is kicked by the fair sex, yet he still follows the female for such sexual pleasure. A henpecked man is compared, therefore, to the ass. The general mass of people work very hard, especially in the age of Kali. In this age, the human being is actually engaged in the work of an ass, carrying heavy burdens and driving teller and rickshaws. The so-called advancement in human civilization has engaged a human being in the work of an ass. The laborers in great factories and workshops are also engaged in such burdensome work. And after working hard during the day, the poor laborer has to be again kicked by the fair sex, not only for sex enjoyment, but also for so many household affairs. So, Srimad Bhagavatam called a categorization of the common man without any spiritual enlightenment into the society of dogs, hogs, camels, and asses is not at all an exaggeration. The leaders of such ignorant masses of people may feel very proud of being adored by such a number of dogs and hogs, but that is not very flattering. The Bhagavatam openly declares that although a person may be a great leader of such dogs and hogs disguised as men, if he has no taste for being enlightened in the science of Krishna, such a leader is also an animal and nothing more. He may be designated as a powerful, strong animal or a big animal, but in the estimation of Srimad Bhagavatam, he is never given a place in the category of man on account of his atheistic temperament. Or in other words, such godless leaders of dogs and hog-like men are bigger animals with the qualities of animals in greater proportion. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is very interesting. So it's a powerful verse and powerful statement. It is just that most of us doesn't have ear to hear. Or we don't have fortune. Otherwise, a verse like this will make someone to have a shift in our consciousness. And so whenever Swami is speaking here, the unfortunate situation of non-devotees. What is that? People who have no taste, no interest to listen to the transcendental passage of Sri Krishna is described here as Gada Graja. Gada Graja. Gada Graja, Lord Krishna, the deliverer from all evils. Krishna delivers us from all evils. And from the scriptures, we know 8,400,000 species of life. Only 400 species are human. 8 million are not human. And out of these 400,000, in Kali Yuga, 200,000 are subhuman, not human. Our qualities are less than human. Those who have the human qualities, the first qualification of a man, a person who has human quality, is that he look for God. The primary concern is that he look for God. That is the first qualification of a person who is considered a human being. Because human beings are distinguished from animals, not because of what people think. It is not. All species of human being, all species of life has intelligence. To a lesser or greater extent, all species of life has intelligence. I give an example. If a tree is growing and meet with a rock, it will change direction. What is that? It's intelligence. Do not continue forcing, sticking the head there. You change direction. Look, a tree. Even if you meet with another branch of the same tree, it will change direction. It will not continue to stick the head there. That's intelligence. All species of life has some intelligence. That it is very useful. If an animal is sick, you don't go to tell animal to go to hospital. They will go to the field and look for a particular plant and eat it. It's not science. It's not scientist. The scientist does not go and tell animals, go to the particular field and get this particular medicine to eat. They know the particular medicine they should go and eat. A human being, foolish as we are, will go to another foolish person, a dog, to ask for medicine that will kill us. It is happening. A friend's son went to the hospital just this week. Today is Friday. Just this week, went to the hospital. The doctors trying to do the operation caused an adrenal injury, which the patient is suffering now more than the original disease that took him to the hospital. Not the novice in the house, doctor. So I told the devotee, you should ask those doctors to pay for the treatment. The boy is suffering because of that. Not the problem that took him to the hospital. The problem that the doctor caused by trying to treat him. The doctors, those animals have this. This is happening to the so-called human beings. Why? Because we have come we have degraded ourselves lower than the animals. So we are unfortunate animals that we are not going to Kadagaja, one who delivers us from evils, from all evils. So we have been described here. The first is dogs. And Papa gave details. He gave the details. Persons who have no discrimination in the matter of foodstuff and who eat all sorts of rubbish are compared to hogs. No discrimination. We are ready to eat anything and everything. That is a hog life. Hog. Hogs are very much attached to eating stool. So stool is a kind of foodstuff for a particular type of animal. When we so-called human beings see a hog eating stool, we feel very bad. It's a disgust. Do you know how demigods are looking at us? Do you know how demigods are looking at us? What we are eating? Do you know how demigods feels? And the demigods feel the same way we are feeling about the hogs. What are they eating? The demigods feel like that towards us. But what are we thinking? I am at the peak of my enjoyment. I'm at the peak. I'm enjoying my life. And you don't have to tell me anything. I have my life to enjoy. In the Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, they were going to meet Advaitacharya, the Sunday. And on the way, they came upon one ashram, which a householder sannyasi was living. He is a householder sannyasi. He was living there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Hey, Nitai, who lives here?" Chaitanya Prabhu said, he's a householder Goswami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, if we have fortune, they take darshan." So they went in there, and the householder sannyasi was there, seeing the two moons appearing in his house. He was happy. And he, out of his happiness, this is how a dog and a hawk thinks, a camel, us. This is how we think. And we will not think beyond our level. We will not do things beyond our level. So it is said that those who put a blue goggle, what would you see? Blue. If you are putting a brown goggle, you will see brown. Every object you see to be that color, because that is the color that is pervading our vision. So for a sense gratifier, even if he studied the scripture, even if a sense gratifier studied the scripture, he will study the scripture that will encourage gratification. And scriptures are very vast. Anything you want, you get. So Bhagavatam 113. So the Swami said, Nigama. Nigama. The Prophet said, Nigama means the Vedic literature. Why? Because everything is from the scripture. Nigama. So this sense gratifier householder, who is a sannyasi, welcomed the two lords to the house. In his sense gratification mood, he offered blessings. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, may you have a beautiful wife, a young and fresh, beautiful wife to enjoy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is not a blessing of a Goswami. This is not a blessing. For him, he did the best. That was the best thing. That's what he was thinking. How will a dog think? How will a hog think? Huh? A camel and ass. How would they think? They would think in their level. A sense gratifier would think like that. Why? They are bereft of the process of being delivered from evil. One will not approaching the deliverer of one from evil will live evil and devilish way. And even if they are in Hare Krishna movement, they will still do their devilish activities using Krishna as a cover. How do you know that? Because I'm not progressing, should not progress. The principle of Bhakti is that everyone feels happy to see other devotees making advancement in Krishna consciousness. And we push everyone towards making advancement in Krishna consciousness. That's a devotee. But a person who is not fortunate like this, will not have anyone encouraged in Krishna consciousness. Even if you see one trying to make advancement, becomes a target for abuse, criticism. So he offered a blessing. You should have a strong appetite to enjoy a very beautiful young lady. Children will say, this is nonsense. This is not a blessing of a Swami. He could not reason beyond his level because that is what he is. What did he say? Oh, Kali Yuga has come. I don't have to wait for a scripture to tell me when Kali Yuga has arrived. I can clearly see it that in my experience, I have traveled to so many holy places and have studied the Veda, the scriptures, very nicely. So a baby who is still sucking breast is coming to advise me. This is Kali Yuga. So he turned to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hey, Brahmana, what is wrong with my blessing? Huh? Even if you are a devotee, if you don't enjoy life, what is the use of this body if you don't enjoy life? Tell me. What is the use of this body? What will you do with this? Just see how your body is so just see it is just like moons put together. This is meant for getting other moons to enjoy it. And I'm giving you blessing for that. And you reject it. Even if I devotee, there's no need to enjoy. It's not take gulab jamun. What is wrong with that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this is not a blessing for Krishna. In this material world, facility for sense dedication, they are all available for all species of life. You don't give animal blessing to, you give a hog blessing to her, you give a dog blessing to have sex. Do you have to give dog blessings, the pigeon blessings to have sex 100 times a day? You need blessing. Do you need to give blessing for that? It is already going on. So what is this? An intelligent person should do something which is not common, which is very rare. So you should bless me that you become a devotee of Krishna. That is blessing. That is what I'm expecting to hear from you. So it's a baby still sucking milk. Yeah? The breast milk is still in your mouth. So I don't blame you. You are a child, that's all. Anyway, if you don't want this one, let me give you some bliss. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the bliss from a dog, from a hog, a camel, and ass is bliss. What is bliss? Nityananda Prabhu Nabadutta, he has experience of everything. He said, my Lord, he is a palm wine drinker. He said, a palm wine drinker. He want to give you palm wine. That is bliss for a karmi. Sita Mabu is, oh, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Let us immediately run away from here. He ran and jumped into Ganga to get purified. That is a hog life. So people who are hogs, dogs, camel, and ass, they have no business tasting nectar. They have no business approaching Krishna. They will not appreciate Mahaprasadi Govinda. Mahaprasadi Govinda, Namo Brahmanya, Vaishnavi, Satapunya Vatamraja. He says, Naiva Jayate, Alpa Punya. Those whose piety is very, very alpha, very, very tiny, very small, they have no taste for Krishna Prasada. They have no taste for Krishna's holy name. They have no taste for Krishna devotee. They have no taste for Krishna consciousness. Their taste is Beshar. No attraction to Krishna. It doesn't have any meaning. Krishna does not have any meaning existence for camels. But why the dog, the horse, the camel, and ashes have no access? Because of the burden of sense gratification we carry on our head. So, living a life of sense gratification is a condemned life. Hogs are very much attached to eating stools. So stool is a kind of foodstuff for a particular type of animal. And even stones are eatable for a particular type of animal or birds and fish. The fishes, they'll eat sand. It's food for them. The bird, they eat sand, the grains of sand. It is food for them. But if a human being eats stone, he will go for operation. What do you call it? Kidney operation. You go for kidney operation. But the bird and animals, they eat it, they don't go for any operation. They don't go to hospital because nature has given them this for their life. So it is nourishment for them. Meanwhile, it is not a nourishment for human beings. So human beings competing with animals is a shame. It's a shame and a disgrace for the human race. And even stones are eatable for a particular type of animal. But the human being is not meant for eating everything and anything. He is meant to eat grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and sugar. As for human beings, not the hogs, they eat differently, human beings eat differently. After finishing a so-called education, the so-called educated person move like dogs from door to door with the application for some service. And mostly they are driven away informed of no vacancy, as dogs are negligible animals and serve the master faithfully for bit of bread. A man serves a master faithfully without sufficient rewards. From the position of the Brahma down to the insignificant Indagopa. What is the benefit of a non-devotee life? What is the benefit? What do we gain by being a non-devotee? What is the gain? What do we gain by being a non-devotee and not being a devotee, or not serving Krishna, not serving Krishna, not associating with Krishna devotees? What do we gain? Nothing but suffering. It's always suffering. But Maya is very, very strong that Maya will cut that suffering with, what is the meaning of tantalizer? What is the meaning of tantalizer? Tantalizer. Tantalizer. What is the meaning? Tantalizer. I've not checked the word in dictionary. I want to know. Anyone can help me? What is tantalizer?
First hope on something.
Very good, thank you. Yes. So Maya will quote our suffering with the hope that we are going to become the greatest. That is Maya. Quoting our suffering. So everyone is producing plastic smile before everybody. Plastic smile. That is what we present everywhere. What is there for a non-devotee to be happy in this world? What is it? There's one very experienced musician who was very famous and popular. So he sang one song that the non-devotees, people that engage in sinful activities, what is their life? They are suffering and smiling. That is only gain. False hope, artificial hope that we are going to enjoy. And Prabhupada give example as mirage. Trying to drink water in the desert. Water does not exist in the desert. So anyone who thinks that there is water in the desert is a fool. Non-devotees are foolish to think that living a doggish life, a hog-like life, is enjoyment. The Swami is saying here, that is not true. That is not true. We have a different type of food. Patram Pushpan Falam to Yam Yome Bhakti Prayati, Kitadaham Bhakti Pahritam, Ashtami Prayata Admana. In this sloka, the word Bhakti is mentioned twice. Bhakti. Simple, very simple. Leaf, flower, fruit, water. These things are available for anyone. Anyone can easily afford them. Anyone can afford them. Krishna did not ask for diamond, for gold, for rubies. He did not ask for that. He asked for something which is affordable by anyone. But Bhakti. And when these things are offered to Krishna, I won't take the remnant. That is for human beings. That's for human beings. But the camel is a kind of animal that takes pleasure in eating thorns. A person who wants to enjoy family life, but the worldly life or so-called enjoyment is compared to the camel. A camel. As a camel eating thorns. And when the thorns will pierce the tongue and bring blood, mixed with what is chewing, it will taste different. I would think this is enjoyment. The thorns, the camel caught the tongue of the camel. And so blood begins to flow within the camel's mouth. The thorns mixed with fresh blood create a taste for foolish camels. And he enjoys the thorn-eating business with false pleasure. Similarly, a great business magnate, industrialist, who work very hard to earn money by different ways and questionable means, eat the thorny result of their action mixed with their own blood. Therefore, the Bhagavatam has situated these diseased fellows along with the camels. What is it? Wasting our life, which is very, very, very short. 100 years and be reduced to 50. What one is 50? I live in the borrowed time. On the queue. On the queue. Of quitting the body. What is the preparation? One who is not preparing, but is living a life every day, just busy working to pacify the senses, which is not possible. Second, means what? What in one word? What is Swami telling? What is Papa telling us? It is very, very important for all of us, especially devotees, to check how we are living our Krishna conscious life. Let us look at our activities and see what we are doing. It is very, very important. Are we living a life of a devotee or are we living a camel life? The last animal here is the ass. Ass is an animal who is celebrated as the greatest food, even amongst the animals. The ass works very hard and carries burdens with the maximum weight without making profit for itself. We already asked, what is the profit? What is the benefit of living a life of sanctification? What is the benefit? We're carrying burden, heavy burden on our head. The burden of all the sinful activities we are committing, even in the name of devotional service, is on our heads. So as devotees, we have to be very, very careful to check our activities. How does it correspond, or our activity, does it match with the Christian conscious activities? Is it approved in the scripture? Our thinking, our willing, our feeling, our action, our eating, our sleeping, everything that we do, does it fit into the Bhakti process? Is it approved in the scripture and sanctioned by our chariots, or they are outside? It is very, very important for us to check. What is it we are doing as devotees? What is it? What are we doing? What are we thinking about other devotees? It doesn't matter what we think about the devotee, but let us check ourselves and see how that is benefiting us as individual devotees. What I'm thinking about you, how is it benefiting me? And how is it benefiting the person I'm thinking? We are devotees and we are marching towards success if our activities and our thinking and everything is benefiting others and is benefiting us. Otherwise, we are within the ashes life, which is what? The burden. And the special qualification of the ash is that it is very much accustomed to being kicked by the opposite sex. When the ash begs for sexual intercourse, he is kicked by the fair sex. Yet, he still follows the female for such sexual pleasure. A henpecked man is compared, therefore, to the ass. The general mass of people work very hard, especially in the age of Kali. In this age, the human being is actually engaged in the work of an ass, carrying heavy burdens and driving trailer and rickshaws. Running around the whole day. For what? A piece of bread. Or some paltry food or whatever. For that, we are working so hard. Our charities are very, very kind. They are giving this vision for us to think properly, to act properly. Because all the time when we hear scripturally, we don't think how this is connected with say. We think, okay, the camel, okay, this and that and that. We'll never feel ourselves connected. How does this verse? Why do I have to read this verse? What does this stand for me here that I have to read this verse? The verse is important because I have to check to see if my activity does not fall within this category. We have to check. It's a mirror for us to see. We have mirror to see our face. The scriptures are the mirror for us to see our heart. So we can know where we are, where we are going. We should know where we are going. We should know how we are going. It is very important. If you don't do that, ask. Eva Goka. The so-called advancement of human civilization has engaged a human being in the work of an ass. We should not think that this is just for non-devotees. We should know that we are also doing the same thing. How happy are we in our Krishna consciousness? If I think that okay, someone is so sinful that makes me not be happy, it means something is wrong with you, not the person who is sinful as you think. If a demon is putting anxiety, you should know that you have a problem, not the demon. So how happy are we in our Krishna consciousness? If that is not there, we should check. To check and see if we are acting like an ass. That is why we are feeling the way we are feeling instead of being happy and satisfied. But Gita, Lord Krishna told us in Bhagavad Gita. That is Bhagavad Gita. It's chapter 2, text 15. Lord Krishna said, Jamhina yata yantiete purusham purushara sabha samadukka sukham dhiram so amrita tvaya kalpate. Obvious among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is what? Is what? He is certainly eligible for liberation. Krishna here did not say one who is steady in happiness. Krishna didn't say that here. So you know the mistake. Krishna should dukkha and shukkha. Shama. He didn't say one who is steady in happiness. That is one-sided. Here, Krishna said one who is steady in both. This is distress, this is happiness. In the middle, you are satisfied with both situations, you are eligible for liberation. This is what we should use to check where we are in our Krishna consciousness. How am I functioning in our Krishna consciousness? How am I existing? Yes, as a devotee, how am I existing? Am I satisfied or some demons activities affecting my Krishna consciousness? I'm not making progress because of demons activity. The problem is not with the demon, the problem is with me. Because if I'm situated in Krishna consciousness, if I'm not acting like us, if I'm acting as a devotee, then I should be someone equal to both situations. And that is Krishna consciousness. So, as Krishna consciousness, we check everything to see that we are functioning properly. It is necessary. Every human being does that. To be successful in everything we do, we check how we are doing what we're supposed to do. Check and see. And if something wrong, we correct it. So every day we are hearing this so we can get corrected and readjust ourselves and be situated in success at the end of our practice. Success. Success. Let there be success for all of us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Maharaj, most of us do not get live association of yourself very frequently, but whenever we do have the association, we really cherish and enjoy it so much. Today's katha is so wonderful, and I'm here thinking to myself, which of the animals do I belong to? And it looks like I belong to all the four.
I'm not speaking to myself.
I'm planning how to free myself from all the four animals. So, devotees, please, if anyone has a question, comment, realizations, please, you may indicate by using the hand emoji, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or speak. Kavikana Prabhu, please unmute. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Maharaj, for your wonderful lecture. I really appreciate.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Maharaj. The one that really struck me is the one that you mentioned towards the end about the verse you quoted in the Bhagavad Gita about the eligibility for liberation. That one has to be steady in both happiness and distress, because it's very easy to be steady in happiness. You think that God is blessing you. Then when and also when that is happening, it's easy for you to chant your rounds. But when things turn upside down, you start, you will not remember that you have committed maybe offense or sin. That is why you are suffering. Then you start blaming everything around you. So, as a devotee, so how can we be able to balance this? Because it's easy to blame everybody when things are going against us. We will not see ourselves as a cause. But when everything is going nice, oh, I'm a pure soul. That is why I'm enjoying, It's easy for us to go like that. So how to balance this, Maharaj? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you also for that good point. It is very, very good the point that yes, nobody tells you, oh, Kai Prabhu, thank you very much, you're the cause of my happiness. Nobody said that. Oh, thank you, you're the cause of my happiness. I'm happy, I'm enjoying because of you. We don't say that. Very rare to find someone who say like that. But the only thing is, oh, Kavi, you are the only person making me not to be happy. So my problem is just you. But that is not true. It's not true. It is not said like that anywhere in the scripture or by any of our chariots. So when things are going nicely, yes, we will chant and we will pray, we will be happy, want to tell the whole world about it. If something goes wrong, we're not happy, we'll start accusing everybody. And in the process of doing this, we will complicate the whole thing and accuse people unnecessarily and extend our suffering. This is commonly done, which is not good. So the question is how to get out of this. How to get out of this is to hear this regularly. Because Rupa Goswami said our suffering is due to ignorance. We don't know. So we do things. Because when a person is doing sinful activity, what is a motivation? I want to be happy. That is the idea. I want to be happy. So in that mood of trying to be very happy, we do so many sinful activities. And then when the suffering comes, we don't see that I caused the suffering. We're thinking, oh, yes, I know them. I know these people who are making me like this. I know them. They don't like me. Prabhupada said, nobody is born an enemy of somebody. We created it here in this material. It is said we created all these things. All the difficulties we face here, we created it here. Therefore, it is very important for us to constantly hear these things. We should hear. Then we will get the clarification to understand that, oh, I have to straighten my way. I have to see that in life, in every life, we say there are some ups and downs. Why these ups and downs? The ups is when we have done something good, the result is coming. The down is when we have done something bad. So our ups and downs are not from somebody, it is created by ourselves. So by hearing this constantly, we get to realize, and then we'll check our activities. And the devotee asked me this morning, that can we share some practical understanding about Sthita Pragya? And Krishna used the example of the tortoise. What is Sthita Pragya? How do we get there? I got a question this morning. So I was telling the devotee who asked me, how do we get to the stage of Sthita Pragya? And the example of a tortoise is what? That we should start to practice to use our senses only when it is necessary. That is the process. Use our senses when it is necessary, not unnecessarily. We should eat only when we are hungry and just to keep our body fit for our spiritual practice. Not just eat because I'm seeing somebody eating. Not just eat because I feel an envy when I see somebody eating. Not just eat because, oh, there's so much food, let me just eat. No. Eat only when it is necessary. We should talk only when it is necessary and what it is beneficial for everyone. This is the practice. So we are using our senses only when it is necessary. Okay, I should have sex only when it is necessary for children. The scripture have explained all this. We fail to practice them because we don't hear properly. We don't have good association. We don't get the good encouragement from good devotees who care for us. So when we have a good association, we will hear all these things and it will help us to start practicing, regulating our lives, regulating the senses to act only when it is necessary. We should see only the necessary things we shouldn't close our eyes in the street because we don't want to see Maya. But we should not see everything and anything more than required. See only what is necessary, where we are going. By doing this every day, regularly practicing like this, we are on the process of regulating the senses, and eventually we will come to that steady stage of Stita Pragya. This is a process, and this is what it means. A tortoise. The tortoises bring out the head when it is necessary, and when it is danger, they put the head back and close it again and remain inside. That means that the meaning of that is that don't use the senses unnecessarily. Use the senses only when it is necessary. That's the meaning. And that is a process of becoming a Stita Pragya, Stita Deep Muni. So when we hear this, then to help us to start regulating our life. Oh, I am in this situation because of my past misdeeds. Prabhupada explained this in chapter 12, text 13, 14. I am in this situation because of what I have done. Therefore, let me tolerate whatever is the punishment I'm getting now. And I should not blame any person because nobody caused it. I caused it myself. So it's practice. 12, 13, 14 about Gita. So in this way, we will gradually make advancement and come to this final stage. Yes. Say, yeah, in the purport you see Prabhupada mentioned, it's in the purport. What I mentioned is in the purport. Yeah, wait. Thanks to my past misdeed, I shall suffer far, far greater than I'm suffering now. So it is by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, I'm not getting all the punishment I'm due. I'm just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is always calm, quiet, patient, despite many distasteful conditions. A devotee is also always kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Nirvai, Nirmama. That is 1155. That's when it's 1150. Nirvairaha Sarva Bhutana. No enemy, devotee don't have enemy. That's in 1155. So this is what we're supposed to do. Is by living our life like this, we are on the way to liberation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. And Kavekanapu, thank you for the question. Anyone else with
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the question.
Maharaj, I have one question. When you were talking, you were saying that oftentimes, devotees will think what is mentioned in the scriptures are not meant for us, they are meant for the karmis, but they are meant for us also. And I just remembered a story Srila Gurudev shared. Now, Gurudev, we know he used to distribute lots of Srila Prabhupada's books. So he had gone to one institution to distribute books, and one administrator in the school, when he saw Gurudev with the books, he asked him to leave immediately, otherwise he was going to call the cops on him, the police. And Gurudev asked him why. He says, because your books are very dangerous to me. And Gurudev was explaining that the books are dangerous to him because the books are correcting him of things that he does not need, he does not have to do. But he's cheating, and the book is exposing him that what he's doing is cheating. So in devotional service, as much as we're trying to be devotees, we do not want to think that another devotee is not acting as a devotee. But it does happen that in devotional life, we see some people, just like you said, they are in devotional service, but their behavior is non-different from non-devotees. So in situations like that, what should the devotee community do when somebody, I mean, like the other time, you were not in the Sangha that very day, but His Grace Srimad Vanachari gave class that day, and some things came out which are not very healthy. But in such bad situations, when a devotee is actually acting in a way that a devotee is not supposed to act, and more especially in the community of devotees, what should be the devotee's reaction to helping that particular devotee? I don't know how to say it, but it's very bewildering to me that a devotee, I'm not serious devotee, but I pray that I don't degrade it to such level, like maybe even wanting to see another devotee die. But this devotee apparently was thinking like that. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
For what one thing I have seen, one big contamination I have seen in our system is that it is scriptural. If you see a devotee attacking another devotee, all of us should join together and bring that devotee to his senses. We are not doing it. We feel very happy to see that a devotee is making such a grievous offense to another devotee, and we keep quiet. That contamination is weakening us seriously. It has a serious effect on us negatively. So the proper thing is to do that. The devotee himself or herself will not defend himself, that is scriptural, or herself. But other devotees should come in and tell this person that this is wrong and put him back or her back to the right position. If it requires a certain amount of punishment, that should be done. But we don't do it, we just keep quiet. It is not humility. It is not transcendence. It is wrong. It is ignorant. It is foolishness. It is because we are not proper in our own consciousness. Therefore, we cannot correct anything which is wrong. And that is a very big disease that is affecting us seriously. I've seen this many times. Everybody keep quiet. So it means that we like it. It is what we want to do. So we see another person doing it. So we feel very happy that the person is doing this, offending and devotee seriously. It is wrong and it should be corrected. If we don't do that, it's a big contamination, and I'm saying that it is affecting us seriously. So the answer to your question is that we should react to it, not the person who is being mistreated or accused or doing the offense to, but all of us should come together and address it. That is what we're supposed to do.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I'm very grateful and thankful to Guru and Krishna that we have a forum like this, because every time I attend Bhagavatam discourse like this, I oftentimes ask questions to see if what I'm already having in mind is proper or improper, and especially if I have devotees like your status as our guru. What you just said is what I have had in my mind, and I try in my own little way to do that. So thank you so much for the answer. And I pray and hope that as devotees, we can hear this and try to live it, to help and take care of devotees. Because devotees will not fight for themselves. But if we see devotee being attacked, we should try to address it in a very loving manner. Thank you, Maharaj. Please, if anyone has a question or comment, please unmute and you'll be asked to speak.
Hare Krishna, Gurudeva.
Hare Krishna.
I have a similar question. Before you are saying that if you are seeing bad things in others, means we have problems. So, Prahlad Maharaj is an example, the opposite, no? He is together among a lot of demons, but he is seeing only good in others and he's preaching good for others. So my question is, if we are seeing bad in others, how to overcome it? How can you stop doing that and to be like Prahlad Maharaj? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Prahlad Maharaj, yes, is a pure devotee of Krishna. So he sees the good in everyone, and at the same time, he does not accept that wrong things are correct because of his position. He does not. If he see that everything is correct, he wouldn't have preached to his classmates to tell them not to follow their teacher, because he's so different. So he gave a different training to his classmates. And he called his father demon. He didn't call his father a saint. He didn't call his father a saint. He said, oh, best of the Suras. He called his father directly a demon. The people like you who are bereft of the knowledge of Krishna will always have a vision of this is my friend, this is my enemy. This is wrong. And he instructed his father, give up this nonsense demonic mentality you have and go to Vrindavan and surrender your life to Krishna. That is the only solution for your problem. His father didn't take it, became very angry, but Prahlad Maharaj gave it to him directly. He didn't mix his word. He didn't fear that his father is going to kill him. He didn't hide it and think that what the father was doing is perfect. What the teacher was doing is perfect. He didn't do that. He exposed their nonsense, and he instructed the classmates on Krishna consciousness. So he made it very clear. So we should not to see the bad in people does not mean that we are safe, that every nonsense thing is correct. No, we should not be affected by the nonsense thing people are doing. At the same time, we should not condone nonsense things. It has to be exposed, because if you don't do that in the community, we are going to destroy the community. And I've mentioned before that the one big problem we're having and is affecting women is that we see people doing wrong thing, we don't correct it. Why we don't do that? Because we are doing the same thing. So if I'm doing the same thing, I cannot correct you when I do something wrong. Because we are weak, not because we are Mahabhagavad, because we are weak. So we identify what is wrong. We don't get affected by it. We correct it and then move forward. That is the point. Prahlad Maharaj did that. So the Prabhupada did that. He chastised and made correction every day. He didn't say that everything was correct. Every day, Prabhupada shouted in Mayavadi. Every day. Why? Because he's helping them to see what they're doing is wrong. All right?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Dhananjaya Prabhu, I hope you are satisfied with the answer. Anyone else before we let Maharaj go? We don't get marriage association oftentimes. So let us make good use of this association with us today. Kanapu? Okay, Kanapu, please unmute.
Yes, thank you very much, Prabhu, for giving me the opportunity. Yes, Maharaj, is the updated version of that my former question, Maharaj. For example, even though we know that we should be in that Sita Pragya state of consciousness, but there's a particular time in our either in the material life or in the spiritual life, some particular people, they sit down to give some calculated anxiety. I remember those days they used to use that word in the temple, calculated anxiety. Like, okay, don't worry, this devotee, I know if I do like this to him, he'll be very hungry. So he calculates his action and really try to put that devotee in that situation. And when devotee now reacts, he say, you see, you're supposed to be a pure devotee and see how you are reacting. So, how can we understand and transcend this kind of calculated devotee action on another devotee to make him be miserable?
Those devotees who have been doing that in the past, are they still practicing today?
Very rare you get some of them, yes, Maharaj.
So that is the result, that they are not in Krishna consciousness, and therefore the result of their simple activity will push them out. So let us take our sadhana seriously, so that all those whimsical things are projecting towards a calculated attempt to put us in anxiety will not affect us. We don't get angry with them. We continue with our practice, and Krishna will help us to make advancement if we can accept it and then look at them. We should not look at them. We should not look at Krishna and move forward. That is what we should do. And the point is that those devotees who do these things are not going to last. Because this place, it is not for all these nonsense things. It is here to purify ourselves. And we should support each other to purify ourselves by seriously engaging ourselves in the devotional practice. Why should I calculate my attempt to make someone unhappy, to give anxiety to somebody? What we give to other people must surely come back to us. So we are not doing anybody anything. I may think that I'm giving anxiety, but I'm simply creating my dark future. It may not be now, but it surely will come, because no action which does not have any reaction. Every action there is a consequence. We'll get it. Someone can say, yeah, but I'm strong, I'm not falling down. I see others are falling down. If you are not falling down today, what of tomorrow? What the use of giving anxiety to people? We already have a lot of anxiety. So we should come here to get ourselves purified, not to come and increase someone's anxiety or our own anxiety.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Kavika Prabhu, for the question. Maharaj, when you were reading the purport of this particular text, I was a little bit shocked how strongly Srila Prabhupada was speaking, like likening some people to all these different animals. But I also realized that when you yourself were speaking, you were also heavy, and it appears like it's harsh, but it is not coming from you per se. It's not coming from Srila Prabhupada. It came from the original speakers. So sometimes Srila Prabhupada is being criticized for using harsh words, like people living like dogs and cats. But we're seeing in this particular text that he is not the one using it. It is Shukadev Goswami himself using it. Now, my question is, how do we, because in this particular age, nobody wants to be told the truth, even when they know they're doing the wrong thing. So when we are preaching and there are such seemingly harsh words because they are bitter truth, how do we use these words to our listeners so that they don't feel that we are being harsh on them, so that they will listen to us, and not in a way of also like watering it down the essence of what Shukadev Goswami is saying, but how do we package it to the general people in such a way that we do not like suck them away, drive them away, not wanting to listen to us? What would you suggest that the devotees tactfully deliver this message to the people out there? Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the very, very insightful question. What I feel is that if one is not speaking out of pride, if one is not envious, and we are humbly presenting the situation to people so that we'll be able to understand what really we are doing. Because, you see, elephants have a very thick skin. So you cannot work elephant with hand. You cannot get up. You need iron to hit the elephants because the skin is very thick. You can get up. So some of us, our head is very, very thick like that, heavily covered over by varieties of layers of narrative. So if we present it as strong as it is, without envy and without pride, it will not offend people. They will be able to accept it, even if it is hard. But later on, they will appreciate that what was said is correct, because it's something that we're doing. I will need to get it on. Yes, in the beginning, it will sound very hard like that. But when we look at it carefully, by thinking about it, meditating on it, the purification will come within us and we'll accept that, yes, what was said was correct. If it is said with envy, with pride, and I'm better and superior to all of you, then it will bring reaction. And people are going to react negatively to it. But if it is out of compassion, it is free from pride, from falsehood, from envy, it will not create havoc. When one has a genuine interest and compassion for the citizens, even if you make mistake, they will not take it seriously. But if we don't have that great compassion, we have the mentality to cheat. Even if you do little problem, it will react negatively. This is my experience.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. It seems we have Arichakra Prabhu's hand up. Arichakra Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna,
much.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for this in-depth message. I have two questions, but one of my first question, I want Sahadev to bring the purport, where Prabhupada was saying about the position of the ass, that he choose the thorn and with this and his own blood mixes with the thing, and he thinks he's happy. Sadi Prabhu, can you bring it up?
Yeah.
There's a particular statement that I heard. I want to ask a question about.
Okay, I did. Do you want me to read? You remember where?
I want exactly. You know my eye. I can't see I can't see with this tiny thing. So
Yeah. So
I want to exactly where it says that the ass he works so hard.
yeah.
And does not. Yeah. Can you read
Okay.
there
Yeah.
for me?
Says, the ass works very hard and carries burdens of the maximum weight without making profit for itself.
Okay, there.
The ass is
that is the place I'm talking
okay.
about. So Maharaj, in playing the devil's advocate, we hear always how devotees we are supposed to work without expecting any reward. That whatever we do we must do it as a service without expecting a reward. So if the ass is doing a similar thing, why now the ass is being like
Condemned.
Yeah, he's being condemned for being selfless. That he's working so hard, but he's not. He knows he's not expecting the big reward, a little reward. I mean, is there, even though Prabhupada is explaining how we are all are working like the ass. So what about if someone has read some of our books and he says, oh, okay, I read somewhere in your book and your book says that in serving God, you should do everything selflessly without expecting result. Now the ass is doing the same thing and you guys are also condemning the ass for it. How do we answer that?
The ass is not working selflessly. The ass is working for a morsel of grass you want to give from the master, not selfless. So that is not devotional service.
Yeah.
Devotional service is different. With the full knowledge that I'm doing this for my own benefit, because as a servant, my nature is to serve the master, and that is my duty. I'm naturally doing that. It's not for anything, not for perfection, not for purity, not for going back to Godhead. I'm doing it because that is what I'm supposed to do. That is Bhakti, and we get purified by that. The ass is working for the morsel of grass you want to get from the master. So the foolishness is that there are so many grasses everywhere. You can eat it anywhere. But he doesn't have intelligence to see that. He's simply concerned with the small grass and thinking that, oh, I'm doing the greatest thing. But the little grass is taken. And that grass is everywhere. It means that the ass is foolish. He does not use his intelligence properly. That's why he's considered foolish. So carrying heavy load for a morsel of grass is not intelligent. So it's foolish.
So does that the way you have explained it, does that mean that if you are a devotee and you are thinking, oh, let me work very hard in serving so that I can get something for myself?
That is not devotional service.
Then you also become like the ass.
Yes. So it's not devotional service. It is motivated.
Okay. All right.
Yes. When we want profit, it is no more devotional service.
All right. And my second question is, when you were explaining how devotees, we should stand up for each other.
Yes.
And I quite remember I heard one other class that you gave where you were also talking about how we should be careful not to commit Vaishnava opera.
Yes.
Now, these two things put together, assuming I've seen someone trying to abuse another devotee or trying to, look down, do something bad to another devotee. And I try to stand up for that devotee. So in trying to stand up, I have to be able to point out what the abuser is doing. That this thing you are doing is wrong. You have to stop. So is it not another way of trying to find fault with that devotee?
No, that is not fault finding. That is a help to the person who is attacking another devotee. That is not fault finding, because you didn't do it on your own. You didn't just come and start pointing hand to the person. you are pointing out, see, this thing you have done is not healthy for the community. It's not good for you, it's not good for you, not good for anybody. So you're not going to help the community. You shouldn't do things like that here. That's not fault finding. Fault finding is a selfish thing for one's benefit, but not to correct a situation that will be good and beneficial for everyone.
All right.
Even,
thank you very much.
Even if you offend other person in the process of that, you are free because you are doing what you recommend in the scripture without malice, without a grudge. It is just a service you are trying to do. Even if the person becomes offended, you are free.
Okay.
Krishna will not punish you for that.
All right. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, all devotees.
Maharaj, thank you so much. I would like to use this opportunity to request all the devotees to help me say a very, very big thank you to His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Damodara Maharaj. Maharaj, remember there was some time ago, you were in India when I called you and told you some difficulty that I was going through, that I was unable to listen, watch, even look at the photo of Gurudev. I could not listen to his lectures. And you promised me you were going to pray for me. And I must say, you've helped me a lot because your prayers has been answered, that now I'm able to listen to Gurudev's lectures. I'm able to read his books. I'm able to look at his photos. So just 3 days ago, I listened to one of Gurudev's video recording that I had never seen before. And I remember, I'm saying this because of what you were sharing about devotees not standing for devotees. And Gurudev was saying in that lecture, it was in Russian, so he would speak in English and it would be translated into the Russian language. So Gurudev was saying that all over the world, everybody knows him as one who tries to bring peace and help devotees live as brothers and sisters. And so that will be monitored by everyone amongst his disciples. And therefore, any of his disciples who does not live up to that, if it becomes very bad, then the guru will sever the relationship, that he's no more your guru, you are no more his disciple. So I'm just saying this to say thank you, and also remind especially those of us who are like direct disciples of His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj, which I believe extends to all devotees, that if we create problems for other devotees, our chance of being disciples may be taken away from us, and which is very deadly. So we should be careful. And thank you, Maharaj. That's all I wanted to share. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Wish all of you the best. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation for Maharaj's presence, love, and enlightenment. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Panchakapatarubhyascha, Kripasinubhya Patitanam Pavanabhyo, Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha.
Jai. All glories to His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Damodara Maharaj Swami Ki Jai.
Jai.